here we are, spawning in the upper right. In the blue, he is the Shield of Ire. He stats. And in the bottom right, in the red for Team NV, it's MARU. All right, so what are we going to see here? Game 1, stats. He's a macro player, MARU. A little bit less so traditionally, but honestly, that idea that he's just kind of this, I'm going to proxy everything, it doesn't really matter what it is. Well, that's not true anymore. MARU's really been favoring the late game. I don't know, again, I don't know whether this is a shoulder issue, a product of his shoulder, and he just feels like it's easier just to try to queue up everything and not really have to use his wrist to shoulder as much and just queue up drops and try to win that way. But that doesn't make a ton of sense, of course, because, I mean, you're just doing less in the early game than as the game goes later on. Okay. Sorry for that pause. I heard some interesting sounds coming from my roommate in the other room, but hey, you know what? This is YouTube, so I don't know. Don't know where I'm going with that, but I do know is stats. He will scout into the natural. You will see that. Oh, hey, there's a command center coming down. I believe he saw the high ground. Did see the barracks, so he's well aware that this is not some crazy one base 1-1-1, and the Reaper will find its way across the map. Now, interestingly enough, this was timed out in such a way that the probe did not really try to go on in and harass or delay the SCV at all. And actually, this was a relatively late probe scout. I believe it was a gate scout, maybe even a cyber scout. So, well, MARU not really, or the stats really not getting in there super early. Not in any sort of harassment position where he can go and make it hard for the barracks to go down, make it hard for the command center to go down. Now, this is just you're going for barracks. Good to know. Now, of course, stats for his part in this game. He has been favoring Stargate openers against Terran recently. He played a full best of 9 against Beyond 2 months ago, I believe, and I think four of those 9 games. So it did go to game 9, and I believe you can find that series on this YouTube channel as well. But anyway, he did that, and 4 of the 9 games he did go for Stargate. So certainly something that he has been favoring more than other Protoss players. You don't see a ton of Stargate from everyone, but stats does seem to like it. Looks like we're going to have a Phoenix opener coming on in here, so maybe some sort of Phoenix Colossus, Phoenix Colossus style that stats might look to go for here. You can give the 5 Phoenixes, you establish map control, and behind that, well, you have just a really powerful gateway robo army. But I've also seen some weird stuff. I've seen some Phoenix into like Charge Lot Archon styles, but that doesn't look like what we're going to see here, as the robo is already on the way. So Stats is just going to choose to be a little bit defensive for the moment, not get any sort of Twilight Council upgrades, not get Blink, not get Charged, nothing like that. And realistically, if you Phoenix, you don't need that. That's kind of one of the ideas. You don't need Blink Stalkers to defend drops because you have Phoenixes. You don't necessarily need Charge to get in contact with the enemy because you have Phoenixes and they can just lift up the power units. And that's not to say that Phoenixes are better or worse than Gateway Styles, but what it does mean is they are viable, that it's kind of a valid alternative. Alright, so now 3 Phoenix are on the map. That's kind of the point where Stats may decide to actually start getting aggressive with these, as I believe it is, I think technically it's 3 Phoenix that one tap a probe, but actually no, it's 2. So he's going to go up and lift here. We're going to get into probably 5 Phoenix, and then we have the Robo Bay just about halfway done. So stats, again, he's just sitting back. He's waiting for this timing where he can have 2-3 Colossi and just defend everything. Now, MARU, he's going to want to hit a timing. Actually, as I say that, that's not quite true, as he does have this third command center done really fast. Generally, you see a lot of Terran players, that they're looking to hit about a 6-minute 30 timing with Stim Combat Shield +1, and that's when they take their third base. But no, MARU, he took a rather quick third base. He has 1-1 on the way, not just +1, and he is very content to move on into the mid game, move on into the late game, and go from there. So we're gonna have to see exactly how Stats responds to this. Whether Stats decides to maybe showcase a bit of aggression on his own, to not let MARU get away with that early command center. I'm not gonna say early command center, but early compared to the style that you see a lot of Terrans playing right now. So now Stats is his third base done. One Colossus is done. Second one on the way, as well is +1 extended thermal lance. All those fun things. Now I'm kind of surprised we don't see a second forge going down here with how greedy MARU has decided to be with how fast this third base is. But I guess I guess you don't get 1-1 quite as fast when it is a Phoenix Colossus style. And I am surprised we haven't seen Stats try to get a little bit more done here. But with the missile turrets, with the Widow Mines in position, with it, how everything goes, MARU's done a really good job of buttoning up his buttoning up all 3 of his bases, I guess. And that is, I'm not gonna say that's one of the problems with this map, because it's not a problem, but that is one of the quirks of this map. It's really easy to lock yourself into 3 or 4 bases and just not take any damage. It's that there are not a ton of attack patterns. And as the bases are pretty close to each other and they're around chokes, it's kind of easy to figure out where the army is going to come from, and therefore figure out exactly what you need to do to be able to, well, to hold it. Now MARU will send a Marine in here, and Stats should, there we go, we'll be able to kill that off. And actually, it's rather interesting, as we do see MARU, he's trying to get aggressive on the right-hand side as well, but Stats will be aware of this, so, well, we have an Archon, we have a Zealot, we have 2 Colossi. Yeah, this really shouldn't get a whole lot done. But anyway, it is interesting that Stats has decided to continue building Phoenix. Yeah, this fight is not going to get anything. As Stats here, he's sitting on 8 Phoenix. The traditional theory says you get 5. 5 or 6, maybe 6 is the magic number that you go for. In PvT, if you're going for a Phoenix Colossus, that's the good balance between offense and defense, that forces more Phoenix without you really overcommitting to Phoenix. But no, that is not what Stats has gotten. He's gone up to 8 Phoenix in this game, and those are 8 Phoenix that he really hasn't done much with. So now with the Ghost Academy done, we have enhanced shockwaves on the way, and ghosts being created 3 at a time here. So there's a timing. I think we're going to see more. Well, MARU's getting aggressive right now, but he's going to have a very powerful timing to hit when he has 2-2 and when he has enhanced shockwaves. But for the moment, I was going to posture with a couple Widow Mines. Now, some Zealots will charge in. The Widow Mines have been triggered. So now MARU, well, he's just going to sit here and fight. And there's actually not a lot here for the moment now, of course, with the army here. Well, with the rest of Stats' army cycling on in. Now MARU will be forced back. But for the moment, I almost would have liked to see him stim and get a Colossus, but yeah, that would have been a questionable decision, and decent likelihood that he loses more than he gains. So I understand why he kept himself back. But still, I mean, he's MARU. You kind of expect him to do those kind of flashy plays. So now we are truly on into the late game. Stats sees his 4th base up. I'm surprised we don't see a 5th base on the way. But there we go. That probe is going forward right now. As Blink is on the way. Dark Shrine is done. So we should see Dark Templar Blink rather quickly, and both players are just trying to round out their tech trees. Now, I believe it's still only one robo. Yeah, stats is still only on one robo. It looks like he's interested in really just doing a rather high commitment to gateway units as the game goes later on, which is kind of against a common idea, but it does work super late when you have DT blink and you just have a massive forces of DTs and charge left that are just kind of blinking on top of armies, blinking on top of bases, killing off all manner of things. But now both players are maxed out. Stats here at just about 200 supply. MARU is a little bit farther away, but still fine. And as their tech paths do round themselves out here, we're gonna start to see the players tango in the middle of the map. And looks like MARU wants to be the aggressor here, as he really does not have a lot of Vikings. Now these EMPs are gonna be really nice, but MARU's really not in the best position as of yet, as the Colossi are going to just keep firing away here. But it looks like the ground army has just evaporated, and MARU, he's going to be able to get on top of these Colossus. One will go down, but the other two will stay strong here, and with the Phoenix lifting just about everything. This is going to be a massive cleanup for Stats, absolutely. So now it's Stats' opportunity to get aggressive onto the other side of the map to really turn this game into a pendulum swing and really put the game in his favor. But these two units are going to force Stats back. Alright, so, well, that seems like a bit of a whiff from Stats there. He absolutely could have kind of really come crashing in and taken out MARU. Just send the Phoenix back or something. But no, he turned back in its entirety. And now MARU is in a little bit better position to defend. I mean, it's not great. He's still down 30 army supply. But, hey, he's had a minute, 30 seconds a minute to be able to reestablish his army, to find himself in a defensive position to force the concave. And now, I don't believe Stats is going to allow this base to come on up, though. Yeah, he will find this 5th command center. It looks like Stats just really posturing all over the map as we see this really good ring of vision outside of the bases of MARU here. So MARU leaves his 4 bases. Stats is absolutely aware of that. Alright, so now we have EMPs coming across the entire army of MARU here, but entire army of Stats, but MARU is now going to be forced back, and there's just so many charge slots on top of everything, and MARU, yeah, I mean, he's not dying here, but oh, the disruptor shots will not get a whole lot, so that's going to be a waste of a disruptor shot, and it looks like one of these Colossus will get taken down. Now, the blink forward will kill off a couple Vikings, but you got to remember, this is, I mean, again, Vikings at a certain point don't really matter. All right, now EMP is landing once again. MARU is going to take the fight on the right-hand side, and there's just not a whole lot of splash. Not at the moment. Disruptor Shot's not really doing what they need to. And yeah, there's one Colossus firing, but now that Colossus is dead, so the Vikings can land if they want to. And this is just a pure 3-3 or 3-2 charge lot army. Which, sure, it's powerful when MARU's sitting here at about 150 supply. As he approaches 170 supply, that Disruptor Shot is going to be incredible, though. And MARU's supply is going to fall just a little here. Now, the warp in will complete and not trade favorably for MARU at all, but Stats was able to once again deny this potential 5th base. Did he kill it? Yeah, it looks like he killed a planet. He killed the 4th base planetary, or the 5th base planetary. So Stats doing a really good job of keeping MARU on 4 bases, keeping him turtled up here. And yeah, MARU's got a lot of orbitals. And that's the thing, but I mean, eventually you mine out. Alright, so now we have Liberator Tech coming on in from our NV Terran player. As he's going to maybe try to turtle this late, get a Liberator range, and get something done. But now with these Disruptor Balls coming in, actually not going to trade all that best. Or all that well, I should say. But stats, he just owns the map. He's now taking the Rich Vespene base. He has +2 shields on the way. He's just taking everywhere, and he's just getting up to so many gateways at this point. 14 done. 2 more on the way. Stats is going up to 16 gateways. That's almost a Zerg-like ability to remax. Now another orbital will go down, but now we're gonna see the Liberators. They're gonna siege up, and suddenly Stats maybe doesn't feel like he can take this. I think he probably could have. But as I say that, I mean, if we look at the supply, yeah, MARU is down, but he's up 20 army supply. And his army is getting really powerful. Now, Stats, especially against this is mass gateway style that we see from our Protoss player. And so, yeah, MARU, he's got a really good concave, and as that look at that, he goes and picks up a decent amount of his picks up most of his army that will run into these disruptor balls. So now he's going to stem forward. Most of the disruptors are going to go down, and MARU is taking such a good fight in this game. Number 1, Stats, has he overextended? Has he committed too hard to this gateway style? But MARU's just been turtling up, and MARU's been just saying, hey, Stats, break yourself upon my shores. And I believe that is exactly what has happened in this game. Yes, now MARU, he had such a supply deficit, and now he doesn't. Now he's sitting here double the army supply of his opponent, and he will be able to find these extra bases. He will be able to find the Rich Vespene base, which realistically is not being mined from all that much, but hey, good enough. And again, we just don't see a lot. We don't see a lot of splash. There's one disruptor here. I mean, alright, so now we have MARU sieging in on perhaps the final assault, but even if not, it is a terrifying one. Sure, the supplies have equalized, but look what it is. It is Blink Stalkers. It is Charge Lots. It is not a whole lot of tech here, and we look at the army value. Yeah, MARU's army is so much more expensive than Stats is that even if the army supplies are roughly similar, well, he's just going to be able to do that. That being said, though, DTs will blink on top of the 4th base, and MARU will lose another base. But hey, he's got another 4th base up and running, or another 5th base up and running at this point. And this is when he can more readily defend, because it's where he's playing on the map. Now, these DTs, they're doing a really good job of harassing up and marauding around. 18 workers have gone down. So Stats does have that going for himself here, but again, it's not the best situation. Alright, so MARU's going to try to do what he can to split here. The disruptor shots are actually going to be incredible, and suddenly MARU, maybe not in as good a position as he was a second ago, but he does have this Liberator backbone to be able to retreat to. And as long as that holds, as long as these +2 Liberators with Liberator range are just at this bastion of defense on top of the planetary, well, it is just so hard for Stats to attack into this. I mean, he can try, but he really has to remove the army on the ground for that to happen. Actually, now he's going to jump on top of the left-hand side of the army, but the EMPs are going to blanket everything. And Stats, he's going to have some decent disruptor shots, yeah, but it's not really going to be... Well, actually, as I say that, the DTs are just doing so much here. So much indeed, as the army of MARU is finding itself falling apart. But even as I say that, the rally's doing a really good job of keeping MARU alive, as he's now up 30 army supply. Even as it really felt that Stats got the better part of that fight in that game, MARU, he's mining better. He has a full 5-base economy, he has mules, and Stats just really doesn't have that. So MARU, he's able to reinforce the supply that he loses in a way that Stats just really does not seem to be able to here, even as Stats does have 14 gateways. Now we have the victory scans. MARU says, "Ah, you don't have a base in the upper left." Now these GTs will blink on top of things, but well, even if you scan, you need to have enough army to kill them, and MARU was kind of lacking that for the moment. So most of the DTs will be able to escape. And now we have Zealots running on in here. Liberator's going to siege up on top of everything. We have a full surround coming on in. These disruptor shots are going to be absolutely amazing. But the ones on the right-hand side will not be. And MARU with a full surround here coming on in on top of everything. Disruptors are going to get targeted down. Their balls, only one ball will go off. And now this 3-3 upgraded battle is going to get on top of everything. And GG MARU. He's going to take game number 1. What a game from MARU there. He did such a good job of just playing on into the late game, coming back from incredible deficits. And hey, he took game number 1 in incredible style. But you gotta remember, this is a best of 5. We get more games where that came from. Game number 2 will be on Pillars of Gold. Let's get into it. Well, we're gonna get into it as soon as the replays load. So there's that. So we're gonna take a moment as we sit here waiting for the replay to load up to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, do all those things you're supposed to do to a YouTube video. Because AlphaX does some incredible stuff, and you should absolutely show them every method of support possible. But our games, they're loaded in. Game number 2, it's all loaded up. Let's go. And here we are, spawning in the bottom left, in the blue, representing someone. Can't remember who Stats is playing for. Representing the Afrika Freaks. Down one game to 0 in this best of 5. It's Stats. And in the upper right, in the red, representing Team NV, is MARU. And game number 1, MARU just kind of sat back, allowed Stats to do what he wanted, and killed him anyways. Game number 2, this is on a slightly bigger map. Maybe, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Mark try to do the same thing, but maybe he's going to try to do something a little bit more aggressive. Maybe Stats says, hey, you know what, I kind of don't want to play another 20-minute game against MARU. Maybe I want to do something a little bit cheeky. I don't know, we're going to find out. Now, of course, we're not seeing anything too crazy. This is not Proxy Stargate, this is not a Proxy Reaper. Both players have the intent, at the very least, of going on into the early mid-game unscathed. Alright, so MARU, Reaper Expand coming on in. And Stats not really showing anything. Now, again, we're not seeing... Actually, this is rather interesting building placement. It's a Jack of all trades, Master of none. Doesn't really stop the Reapers from coming in from here, from the ramp, but also not really stopping Reapers from going around behind the mineral line. It's not the natural forming wall. It's just a... I don't really see a whole lot of reason why he does it like this, so... I guess that's just what we see is once again Stats does decide to open up with the Stargate. As I guess that's how he prefers to play it this game at the moment. Now this Reaper won't get a whole lot done. Deny slightly a little bit of mining because of the Reaper grenade, but that's about it. And so we continue. Oh, so the Reaper's going to go into the natural, and depths are not quite there yet, so maybe there's something he can do, but not really. And then we're going to have the double tap, but of course you do need 3 attacks from an adept to kill a Reaper, so... Well, not really going to happen here, and there we go. So yeah, this Reaper should die. Stats tries desperately to corral it, but actually... Yeah, there we go. We'll go down, but MARU, he's aware of things. He sees the Phoenix on the way. And that's kind of all he had to see. So, okay, well... Widow Mines and Mineral Lines, and, you're not really going to put pressure on me for the next 45 seconds at the very least. You got to get up a Phoenix count that is actually useful. So now we have a bunch of adepts coming on in here, and this is again, this is a pretty cool thing that Protoss can do. They're like, I'm gonna build maybe an extra unit or two and deny mining. But with the Widow Mine here and the bunker, yeah, these adepts are not gonna get a whole lot of anything done. And MARU, he's just buttoned down. He says, no. I don't want to take any damage from you this game. Now, I'm interested to see whether we go into... Okay, so we're not going to see Widow Mine drops for the near future, as we do have a tech lab coming down on this starport. So MARU's going to get a Raven as soon as he becomes unsupply blocked, as he is currently. So that's a little bit annoying, but it's not like there's a big attack coming on in where he's going to need free supply to be able to produce units quickly. So... all supply blocks are bad, but some are worse than others. This one, not really going to cause too many issues for MARU here. And now we do have the Raven on the way. And MARU, look at that. I mean, he's got really good marine positioning. He's got a couple on the mineral line. He's got this bunker with a marine in it. He's got a couple marines on top of his production, so this Phoenix can't swoop in and just kill off all the production. And nothing in this mineral line, but... okay, actually, he's a Widow Mine right there. So, again, pretty much the entirety of MARU's base is covered as everything... locked down to a T, and this is actually pretty. If you're looking to figure out, hey, how do I deal with Protoss aggression of the less committed variety? Well, this is a good thing to learn from. As MARU, he just has a little bit of everything everywhere, and there are now 5 Phoenix on the map, so that's the magic number. But it looks like stats does like to go to 8, so that is rather interesting. And I gotta say, I mean, Phoenix styles, I feel like you have to get something done with the Phoenix. It's not just kind of have them sit there and maybe take a fight and then cry when it doesn't work. And I'm not, again, that's not a question of stats sportsmanship, but just, I feel like you need to get some damage. Just having the Phoenix do nothing at all when they have the potential to, at the very least, shave off a couple SCVs, shave off a couple Marines, anything like that. Well, there we go. I feel like it's just wasted potential. But I guess in all fairness to stats here, MARU is really buttoned up. There's not a great opportunity for MARU to, or for stats to really get damage done pretty much anywhere in the main of the natural. Maybe once MARU takes the third base, that's when stats can kind of swoop on in and get something done. But now stats are going to run on in. Oh, hey, missile turret. Okay, backing up, running away. But now here's the transfer, so this is where he can get something done. He's going to lift a bunch of Marines, lift a couple SCVs as well, and yeah, finally we're seeing the Phoenix get something done here. And again, I like this. I think Stats is finally making use of the tech that he's decided to go for, and that's pretty good. He will not be able to get the medevac, but there's damage done to it. He killed a decent amount of Marines. Oh man, if he could get that Raven. So Stats once again has decided to go for 8 Phoenix in this game, and now he is, again, he's starting to get a little bit of damage done. He was going to swoop in on into the third base. I don't know if he got any SCVs, but even shaving off some army does mean that the eventual push from MARU is going to be a little bit less impactful. And that's pretty good. Old MARU has severely delayed his 2-2 as well. That armory is pretty late. He's going to be pretty happy for Stats here, as he does have his third base done, fourth base on the way. And here we go. Now the Phoenix, they can't deal with his army. No, they're not enough Phoenix to lift and kill and do anything like that. But the fact that Stats knows where the army is, the fact that he is able to do damage to medevacs, to force more Vikings, do all of it, well, I would say to force more Vikings, but I don't feel like that's the way the MARU has been playing, even as it's notionally how you should play. It's all about, or not notionally how you should play. That's how the game against Phoenix Colossus used to get played, where you'd get, I believe it was 3 additional Vikings for every, you had to get like 8 additional Vikings to deal with the Phoenix Colossus, so you ended up with like 15, 17 Vikings, which was a lot of Vikings, but how players decided to deal with Phoenix Colossus. But that's not what we're seeing here. Is it just, I think MARU's just decided that ghosts are the answer, because, well, Phoenix is, if they can't lift, they're not all that impactful. So now Stats does have his 4th base, but Maru, his 4th base is just about halfway done as well, and he will be able to take that fairly easily, as Stats not been all that aggressive. Once again, this game, I'm not going to say it's no rush 10, because a little bit of damage has been done, but, well, that seems what's happened. It looks like we may see our first engagement in just about 10 minutes into this game. 9:30, okay. Or not. Maybe we will see that magical 10-minute timing. As both players, of course, had a gentleman's agreement. They said, no one of us, we will not do any serious military action until 10 minutes on into this game. I mean, look at the warp ends. Stats getting ready to attack. NR10 is in full effect. Stats, he's got a real good timing on here. 2-1 is done compared to just the 1-1 of his opponent. He has a full max. He's sitting here up 20 supply on his opponent. He has a powerful army. He is sitting here on 3 Colossi, a bunch of Archons, a bunch of Shard Slots. And this is absolutely the timing Stats is going to love to hit. The tanks, actually, they're out in front of the army, and most of Maru's army is not there. Interesting, Stats decides to just eat tank volleys and then not follow up. I would have expected him to take that fight, actually. Okay. I guess the missile turret was poorly placed. And Stats. Oh, Stats, you dog. He's going for... Stats going for the ultra late game. We have a fleet beacon on the way. We have a second Stargate on the way here. And I'm not exactly sure what Stats is going to go for. Maybe it probably is carriers, but I think I've seen some late game Tempest plays against Terrans too, just so you can kind of knock all their tech from the sky. But again, carriers do make a lot more sense. So, Stats going for that. As 3 Stargates are on the way here. He does have 5 bases. He does have the money he needs to be able to deal with that. And looks like, well, yeah, Maru does have a full scout on all of these Stargates. Says, I know what you're up to. I see the fleet beacon. I see the Stargates coming on in. And there we go. We have a fusion core on the way. I'm surprised we don't see more starports on the way yet, but Maru also realizes that he has time. Alright, so now Stats will be able to find this army on the left-hand side. A couple Phoenix will get popped for the trouble. Actually, I think it was only 1 Phoenix that will go down here. So nice catch here from Stats. Although Maru, I mean, you gotta imagine in part he's looking to give away some of this lower tech army to be able to trade it out for whatever he wants. Whether it is Vikings, whether it's Ghosts, whether it's, I don't know, other things. As Maru's going to find this 4th base kind of unattended for the moment. So, depowering things, getting a couple probes. That's a pretty valid expenditure of a couple Marauders. And Maru's going to be pretty happy with that, as he does move around the right-hand side as well. And you got to remember, this is 2-2 versus 3-2. So, the ground army of Stats is just fundamentally better, at least from an upgrade perspective, than the army of Maru. So, we'll be forced back. But hey, there are a lot of ghosts, and suddenly this army is not quite as powerful as it once was. As enough EMPs land that an Archon just dies. That's pretty fun. Alright, so now 4 carriers on the way at a time here. As that is the tech choice the Stats has decided to go for. As, yeah, +2 air attack, +3 ground weapons, and shields are on the way. So Stats, he's just going on into the late game very heavily. He says, you know what? I know exactly what I want out of this game. I think the late game Protoss is really strong. I've got all my bases. I've got almost all my bases on the map. I feel pretty comfortable moving on into late game, moving into mass carrier, and just building a more expensive army than you can a more powerful army than you can possibly hope to have. But Maru, he's no stranger to these games. I mean, you may remember Maru versus Parting from from GSL Season 2, I believe, on Ice and Chrome, where he built something like 100 missile turrets. Well, he's starting to get there now. Now, he's not at 100. But he is, he's approaching that. He's sitting here on 12 missile turrets, 4 more on the way. So it's only 16. Come on, Mara. Those are rookie. You got to pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Ooh, that ghost, do we have nukes done? Oh yeah, we have one nuke, so it looks like the ghost was going in looking for a nuke, but with the cannons out front, it's going to be rather difficult for him to do, so he's going to retreat, tail between his legs, like, run back! I don't want this, I don't want this curse. But, okay, so yeah, now he's found a spot. With the scan to be able to do things, and MARU, I do like, in these late game situations, MARU just really likes to use nukes to knock off static defense, and I've got to say, I happen to like that idea. Now, I think, yeah, okay, this ghost will get taken out. But the nuke goes off. Okay, yeah, stats doesn't get there quite in time. Another drop coming on top of things as well. So, static defense will get depowered, and the base doesn't go down as well. And I don't believe that was a cancel, so nice little trade there for MARU. And stats is getting really aggressive on the left-hand side. That is a lot of carriers. Carrier Colossus inbound. As now there are, of course, there are a decent amount of missile turrets, a decent amount of Vikings. So maybe not the best possible fight, but still pretty good for statures. He does crunch on through things. He's looking to get aggressive once again. Now this is the count we gotta be looking for. Only 18 odd interceptors on the map. So that's a lot of carriers. There's just not a lot that actually can fight them. But now with the stalkers here, they're gonna blink on top of things. And there's not a whole lot on the ground for MARU, or for stats, not at all. The ghosts are just fighting really well. You think of ghosts as EMP machines, as nuke machines, but you kind of forget that ghosts are just really powerful ground units. They got a lot of health and they do a lot of damage, especially against light units. So MARU fighting pretty strong here, and he just continues to build more and more Vikings, more and more Liberators, whatever he can to just remove interceptors from the sky. He's actually going to get a Colossus for us, or sorry, not a Colossus, get a carrier for his trouble. So we now only have no carriers on the map? Yeah, no carriers on the map. Alright, so with that last fight, stats took a really terrible engagement if you look at things. He's now lost 5,000 more resources than his opponent, and MARU is not... MARU's 2 bases behind notionally. I mean, this base isn't mining, so MARU's really only 1 base behind it. That EMP will land really nicely. So stats really cannot afford to take too many more of these engagements. Sure, he's going to be up on bases for the moment, but MARU really... Yeah, there we go. He's taking the second to last base. MARU almost has every base he could want on the map at this point. And of course, once he takes the upper left base, he's going to be able to take this middle left base pretty easily as well. He's just going to, of course, just keep pushing missile turrets forward. That's how StarCraft will blink forward. Got on top of some of these Liberators, but these the ghosts are fighting strong, and, well, it's not exactly a great trade for stats. Not a terrible trade for other player, actually. I think it just comes out in the wash. But now MARU, he's well, he's just starting to use some of his units that he doesn't have as much of use for as, really this game is about the air at this point. So Mass Liberator, Mass Viking, those are the units that you want. So now this run by coming on in, DTs are going to get warped in to try to deal with things, and actually MARU will force a recall. Some, really minimal pressure here on the left-hand side, as there are 1, 2, 3 Sentinel turrets, like, right on top of each other. As MARU says, oh yeah, I know just about everything that exists on this map. You cannot... Oh, you dare to approach me in that particular location in that manner? Well, I got a sensor tower there. And that's going to be not going to be all that fun. Now, I do like this. We do see MARU, or Stats, doing a pretty good job of just using his disruptors to remove static defense. And that's a pretty nice way to go about things. As we've moved into the incredibly common Blinkstalker Disruptor Tempest Army. And if you think this is common, well, it's not. Really cool style we're seeing from stats in this game number 2. And, well, it's given us a pretty cool game. Now, we have a ghost coming on in here. There we go. Static defense will force that back. As, yeah, the ghost will go down, but not before getting an EMP on top of all of the Tempests. So if MARU decides to take a fight rather quickly, well, it's going to be pretty nice for him. As we have so many upgrades, but now we have, of course, Liberators getting on top of everything, sieging on top, Vikings fighting, and this is not a great fight for stats, not at the moment. Now we have a bunch of more weapons, and stats now gets on top of his static defense, and with the Disruptors coming on in, it looks like MARU will be forced back. Now we have 3-3 air coming on in here for stats. Sorry, 3-3-3, yeah, okay, 3-3 air and +3 shields coming in for stats, as a bunch of GTs find their way on into the main base. And, well, we don't have a lot of army. Not gonna be able to see it yet, but now we do. Okay, so yeah, the ghost or the DTs will be able to get out for the moment. And now Stats is in an incredibly aggressive position here. Stalker's blinging forward on top of everything, but the Vikings are firing strong, and so many, well, pretty much everything that can get killed by a Viking has just died. Stats going down 30 supply just like that, as he's sitting at half the army supply of his opponent. But where is the rest of MARU's army? Oh, is it just Vikings? Yeah, MARU has like nothing on the ground. He was caught in a transition. He's sitting here 120 army supply out of 83, but he just really doesn't have any sort of, he doesn't have anything on the ground whatsoever. He overcommitted to this mass Viking Liberator force, and a lot of his supply is also in production as he waits for a bunch of Liberators to come out. And yeah, Liberators are powerful. Liberators are scary, but at a certain point, you can just kind of move around them. Liberators just don't do damage quite fast enough. It looks like now MARU has the Liberator count that he was looking for, has the Viking count that he has been looking for. And this army from stats, I mean, yeah, it's a decent army supply now. Although, man, there are 3 tanks here, so that is, well, actually, no, the tanks aren't all that upgraded, so not a whole big deal. And now we're gonna have the Vikings, we're gonna have the Liberators siege up on top of everything. I wouldn't even be surprised to see the Vikings land, but I guess that's not what we're gonna see. As another base of MARU does go down, but every time the base goes down, Stats loses more and more armies. Now he's down 40 army supply as he turns to fight once again, but every time the Liberator sieges, Stats has to back up. He has to give up ground. And I gotta say, though, this was a really good move for Stats. I mean, yeah, he's down an army, but he's doing a pretty good job from an economic perspective. That is, assuming he doesn't lose this army here to just a bunch of Liberators, as he is in danger of doing. There's a lot of static defense, and there's a shield battery overcharge, so not a big deal at the moment. But now the shield battery overcharge is done, which means everything's going to go down. And this run by, well, it looks like it's going to turn into a flank. Alright, so MARU's getting on top of this base. So yes, well, Stats does have a base he could reasonably take. He has not mined a ton from this base. And it will be forced back once again. Now, Liberators will siege up, knock off a couple Liberators before anything happens. But, well, now the Liberators are sieged and Stalkers are dying. And Stats is slowly running out of bank. That's something, of course, we should talk about. And now there are Tempests out on the map again. These are, of course, 3-3-3 Tempests. They pack a punch, and they don't die all that fast. Alright, so now Stats with his army on the left-hand side. Again, he really does seem to like this mass gateway late-game style. I can't say I blame him. It's pretty cool. It allows him to be really active on the map, and he has killed off so many bases over the last several minutes. As MARU's going to lose the top left base and probably lose... okay, no, he's not targeting down. We could say he was probably going to lose these command centers as well, but no, not exactly getting targeted by the Stalker. So MARU will be able to clean this up, as the main army is just sitting here sieging on the left-hand side. Now, Vikings will have to go forward here. Now, the Vikings... I think we're at single volley territory for the Tempest. So 2 Tempests, 3 Tempests, 4 Tempests will go down. MARU turning into the Count Von Count as he just really takes fantastic trades. Alright, so the disruptor shots, they're not going to be all that impactful. That one, we're getting a decent amount of ghosts coming on in. But you got to remember, the disruptors, they like to survive more than one shot. Not allowed to in this game. And now Stats, he's got what he wants. He got a couple oracles, and that makes his life so much easier. But of course, he's going to lose the base once again. He keeps trying to take this base. And yeah, he's getting a little bit of money in long-distance mining out of it, but he's really not getting what he wants. And Stats realizing the fact that, hey, he's maybe not in the best position. And now, oh, I really like this. MARU, aware of the fact that Stats was going for a base trade, has already started pulling his command centers back into a defensible position. Already started pulling his SCVs back until he has the army that he needs to be able to deal with things. And that's a really, really cool decision. Now, the Liberators are still dying, and the Planetary is still dying, so maybe not working out quite as well as MARU would have liked, but he's bought himself some time. And yes, he did lose a base, so if we look at the economy here, actually, yeah, this is a better thing. Both players don't have a ton of economy. But MARU here sitting up 30 army supply. He lost bases, but these are bases he can replenish. He has orbitals. He has bases that he can go and re-land. Stats, though. Stats does not have that. Even if Stats does take bases that are theoretically MARU's. So I do like that, but yeah, these are not going to go up. Stats, it was a cheeky move. It was a pretty cool move, but will not work out in the slightest here. And now this third base will go down. Sorry, did I say third base? This nth base will go down. Now, Stats doing a really good job of playing the map. He's really trying to make sure that he goes and just tries to fight where MARU is not, but when you have this amount of static defense and this amount of Liberators, it is really hard to find a situation where you can realistically attack into it. Now MARU will find this base. And Stats at this point, he is running out of money. This base, out of 14, as a couple of these mineral patches are just about mining out. Functionally no minerals here. Functionally no minerals here. Not a lot of income for the blue Protoss players. He's trying desperately, and these, I mean, disruptor shots are great comeback units, but not if you're MARU. You just pick up your entire army the minute the disruptor shots come on in, and it's not even like Stalkers can blink on top of that because, well, Liberators are a thing. That disruptor shot's going to land pretty nicely, and well, unbeknownst to MARU, Stats has gone into carriers once again, but there's just not enough interceptors. Sorry about that. Not enough interceptors, and now another base goes down. Was not all that impactful in the grand scheme of things, but it did make a difference. His was mining a grand total of 200 minerals left in it. So getting that base really is Coronas more than anything else. Stats trying to take a cheeky base once again. I believe, was that scanned? I don't believe so. But man, this game is getting scrappy. This is, oh, what a cool game. What a cool game indeed. And I cannot believe that Stats has been able to stay alive, which is really on primarily gateway tech. And he will be forced to fight here. Both players sitting on about 150 supply. And now we have the fight coming on in, but the Liberators are sieged up, and the Ghosts are blanketing. EMP is on top of everything. Now, of course, the Vikings, they're just targeting down carrier after carrier. And this is not the fight that Stats won. He attacked into a sieged up Terran position, and that is not what you want in the slides. Now, I will say, there's just not a lot that shoots up anymore. Okay, actually, no, there are just enough Marines, and how many interceptors do we have? Only 9 interceptors left on the map. So these Marines, they could have chased down these carriers if they wanted to, but they're just going to content themselves with the base. And sure, there are 16 interceptors. Stats has been rebuilding them. And you got to remember, MARU, he's broke right now. He does not have a ton of money, even as he was like to. But Stats does have the wherewithal to rebuild his interceptor count. And with 6 333 carriers, that's a lot of DPS. It's a lot of deeps. But MARU, once again, he will find this, what do we want to call it? The 5 o'clock base? The 5 o'clock middle base, whatever it is, he will find it, and Stats will be forced to cancel once again. So Stats, he just doesn't have an economy. That is the story of this game. So many probes just going and not mining. I mean, I think he was long distance mining from here. Got a couple more, got 15 more minerals out of that. But now the carriers are really Stats' last and only hope as he sits here below 100 supply at 28 minutes on into this game. As we really wait for MARU to consolidate his victory. He's now able to take the upper left base. He's now able to take the middle bottom right base. He's able to take the bottom right base maybe. And now he's going to take the last fight once again. There's just not enough interceptors left on the map. 30 are here at the moment, but the Marines are just gunning them down. Actually, they're just gunning the carriers down. So interceptor count is dropping precipitously. And GG, MARU You take game 2 in 28 minutes. 28 minutes! What a series. I'm sorry. Series not over. What a game. But hey, you know what? We got potentially three more maps going on in here. And, well, man, if every game is like game 1 and game 2, inject this straight into my veins. Absolutely. These games have been, actually, yeah, every game of Cast Night has been just absolutely incredible. But we're not done yet. As Stats, he's down, but he's not out. Game number 3 is going to be on Oxide. Let's go. And here we are spawning in the bottom right, or excuse me, in the upper left, in the upper right. There we go. I know what I'm doing. In the blue. He's representing the Afrika Freaks, and his back is to the wall. In this tournament, even. Give it up for Stats. And in the bottom left, in the red, representing Team NV, up 2-0. He is the one, the only. He's MARU. And you got to remember, this is the lower bracket of TSL6, and what that means is that, well, what that means is this the lower bracket. And should Stats lose this game, Stats will be knocked out of the place. And I believe this is 6th through 8th place. No, I think it's not. I think this is technically 9th to 12th. When you're looking at big upper lower bracket setups, it's a little bit hard to track exactly where the players are going to end up. But anyway, actually, I have that up. I can tell. Yeah, 7th and 8th place. Whoever drops out here, whether it is MARU, whether it is Stats. And, you know, I gotta say, I'm hoping for a Stats victory in this game, number 3. Not because I'm a big Stats fan, not because I'm a big MARU fan, but, well, mainly, it's because I like to see Game 5s. Game 5s make me happy. And now we do have an SCV coming on in, scouting around. Looks like MARU is going to look to put a bunker here and just deny mining from the natural for a little bit of time. This is it's relatively cheap investment that Terrans can do if they're able to get that SCV in undetected. And it's just really annoying for the Protoss player. And yeah, Stats looks like he will not be aware of this. And I gotta say, so he is absolutely living up to his name as the Shield of Fire. Yeah, he's living up to his name, and we do see MARU respecting that. He's not really going for early aggression. He's not doing something that might be a little bit cheeky, a little bit annoying. No, he's just going for late game plays and eking out these bare victories. Stat game was absolutely even up until the point where Stats, well, he took a fight into 8 +3 sieged up Liberators, and I don't care how much I don't care how much air army you got at a certain point. Nice micro there. Of course, MARU, he's going to put his SCV back in the bunker whenever there are projectiles flying towards it in the air. But of course, after that, he wants to keep it out because he wants to be able to... oh no, MARU's going to get a probe. That is... I mean, the goal of this is to deny mining, and if MARU's able to get a probe on top of this, that is just really nice. But now, of course, with the Stalker here, with the Adepts, I don't really think MARU's going to be able to hang around here for much more longer. There we go. We do have the salvage coming on in as the Reaper finds its way into the main base and says, oh, hey, Stats! It's a Blink build! That's fun. I'll say that is absolutely something that I haven't talked too much about in this game, but it has been incredibly impactful. MARU has gotten his Reaper into the main base of Stats every point in this game, or every game in this series. He has been able to see what tech Stats is going for in every game. That's a pretty nice thing for him. As now these Adepts are going to run on in, and the 2 Adepts will beat these 3 Marines without just incredible micro. And while MARU has good micro, he doesn't have impossible micro. So now, of course, with the Cyclone coming on in and more Marines coming out 2x2, the Adepts will be forced out. But none of them will die because the Cyclone locked onto the wrong unit. However, a couple of Marines died, 3 SCVs died as well, and that's a pretty decent trade. Alright, so stats going on the blink route. I believe this is 2-gate blink. Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. So, of course, the goal here is to be able to get a quick third base, and Nexus is just about halfway done at this moment. And it's just a defensive blink. You want to make sure that you can deal with any sort of Widow Mine drops, Hellion drops, although Hellion drops do hit before blink does. Just want to be able to make sure you have this nice blink tank so you can get around the main, get around the natural. Do all that jazz. And we're just going to go on into things. MARU, of course, he is going for that quick third command center build once again, so we're not going to see that big +1 stim combat shield timing that so many Terrans like to play. Actually, I feel like we've been seeing Terrans do that less and less over the course of the last several months. It really did seem like it was all the rage for quite a bit, but after some point, it looks like that's not exactly what we saw. Is now stats is looking to posture. I mean, this is only what is this? This is only 6 stalkers, so it's not really gonna. It doesn't have the potential to get a ton done, but well, it's. Maybe he can pick up a cyclone or something, because of course these stalkers, if they blink onto the main base, they will not win that fight against this army that is right here. But maybe, you know, you do the thing where you kind of posture on the edge and then you shade your adepts on into the natural, and MARU's not quite paying quite enough attention, so he goes and loses a couple of SCVs. Don't know exactly what stats' plan is here, but beyond this, of course, we do have a Robo Bay on the way. An Immortal is being built right now, just because, I mean, no other use for the Robo, and well, they're pretty good against. Well, I should say Immortals are pretty good against early pressure. Now the Stalkers will blink on into the main base. They will get the Cyclone, and that's going to be nice enough for them already. And actually, more importantly, Sierra Stats is going to delay the barracks for the time being, as now he's going to try to take the fight on his own terms, but yeah, it's just going to be able to force it back out. The entire army of MARU is here, and that's a pretty scary army. Stim is just about done, as is Combat Shields, and MARU does have a tank, so he might try to get aggressive, despite the fact that this is not an aggressive timing. Although I think this is more likely that, yeah, he's just pushing out to make sure that he can take his third base. It's a Stim and Combat Shield. They are both now done. Charge done as well. So yeah, MARU doesn't have quite the army supply advantage he would need to be able to push into a Colossus and a bunch of charge lots. So this is not MARU's timing at the moment, and he knows that. He's just main-arding, shuffling all his SCVs over to the third base. And here we go. Buckle in, folks. We got another long game. I am absolutely here for those. One Colossus is done. Second one now getting on the way. We should have extended thermal lance by the time that these armies really decide to clash. Functionally, this is just a run by, just a drop from MARU, establishing map pressure. I'm surprised we didn't see him just stim and kill a couple stalkers, but now he will be forced back. And with the 2 Immortals here, with the Colossus, yeah, this army is absolutely not something MARU can fight with that small contingent. Did MARU see that base? He did not. MARU is not aware of the fact that Stats has his 4th base. I mean, based off how the game's going, he can probably assume, but he does not know. And yeah, game reads are one thing, but you do like to be able to actually see what's happening on the map. Alright, so we talked about that there's 2 medevacs. Oh, that's functionally a drop. Well, now MARU's going for a drop for real. 4 medevacs coming on in here into the main base, and there is no army from Stats here to defend it, so we will see a full recall. So MARU, this drop's not going to last here for too long, but he will be able to depower a couple pylons and make it easier for him to get on into the map, or into the main base later on. And oh, that medevac. 9 HP. One more Stalker shot. But of course, this is not the only drop coming on in the map here, as we do have a drop on the left-hand side as well. So MARU, he's just attacking 2 places at once. These Widowmine shots are not going to be the best, but they're not going to be terrible. And there we go. Another Zealot does go down. Another drop in the 4th base. MARU's going to stay on top of these Colossus. One will go down immediately. Second one dying as well. And this is such a good trade here for MARU in this game. In this game number 3, as all 3 Colossus will go down. Stalkers as well. And yes, eventually MARU will have to pick up and go home. But actually, he's not even going to go home. He's just going to go up on the high ground and says, oh, hi, yeah. It's over, Anakin. It's over, Stats. I have the high ground. And now these Widow Mines, they're just sitting here in the natural as well. They were never cleaned up. So 2 more Widow Mine shots will go off on not only do some damage to the Immortals, but now we have this drop on this ledge that it's only Stalkers can do something about. But now MARU, this should eventually get cleaned up. But what a move here. 17 workers have gone down. Okay, it's not even done. Excuse me. 17 workers have gone down. All 3 Colossi died. MARU just getting the perfect fight in every base. Okay, now that, yeah, this drop is done. And there's nothing, not really functionally anything in this one. But we got another drop, another run by, whatever you want to call it, coming on here onto Stats' 4th base as well. And I mean, this is just two Immortals and a couple charge left. This is not the type of army that Stats needs to be able to defend this year, especially with all these Widow Mines. As Widow Mines will target off, so many of the charge left will go down. But now it looks like the rest of Stats' army is here. So that will be, MARU will be forced back, but when we watch a MARU fight, we say, hey, look what's happening on the right side of the map. Oh, look, it's another army. MARU never fights with one army. I'm not going to say, sorry, not never. MARU rarely fights with only one army at a given time. So now he's pushing here on the left-hand side, as it looks like he accidentally built a Hellion. But there we go. So, okay, Stats will hold the right-hand side, but look at the left. Actually, yeah, Stats is going to hold on that too, but the Widow Mines are just going to be disastrous here. Meanwhile, MARU's main army on the right-hand side. Looks like he was moving, yeah. Okay, that drop on the left-hand side, joining up with the main army as MARU consolidates his forces. He says, look, I think I've done enough damage here. I think I forced you out of position enough. Now it's time for my big push to come on in and knock your 4th base out. And that is exactly what MARU is doing, as he's up here 2-1 versus 2-0. And he's got a terrifying army. Granted, Stats' army is pretty good too, and with the lack of Vikings, this is going to be problematic. MARU cannot fight here for too long. He just doesn't have the tech he needs. The Widow Mines will be able to go off, or Colossi will not be able to kill him off, and now MARU will be forced back. So this is the first time where he's gone for a big bit of aggression. Hasn't really worked out well for him. And in that, well, Stats found himself back into this game. He kept his 4th base alive. I guess he lost a guess, but yeah, he kept his 4th base alive. Only lost 2 probes, did not lose any tech units. He maybe lost an Immortal. No, he did not lose an Immortal. Immortals are truly immortal in this game, as that one Immortal has 4 kills. Yeah, each Immortal has 4. Harping up MARU. MARU returning with Liberators. He's going to really take advantage of this choke point here. Trying to do what he can to maybe fish Stats into a fight that he doesn't want to take. Now the Liberators are firing, and they're of course just targeting down high-value units. But now MARU will be forced to stim and kite back here because his army, yeah, he's up an upgrade, but that's a scary Protoss army, and MARU just lacking the tech that he needs to either deal with the Colossi or counter the splash with his own splashes. Yeah, Widow Mines are a thing, but again, Colossi do outrange Liberators rather significantly. So MARU, now he's moving on into the next stage of his tech. We do have a Ghost Academy on the way. The Vikings coming out 2 by 2. And I would not be surprised to see MARU take a 5th base sooner rather than later. Alright, so now with this Widow Mine drop, didn't really work out, but Widow Mines, they burrow. And they do their fun stuff. So, yeah, the one burrow Widow Mine was able to force the Stalkers back, but now we have Stats posturing aggressively for the first time in quite a bit. And well, MARU is kind of ready for him. He's not really pre-split yet, but now, yeah, absolutely he's not ready, as he does want to go back. First, of course, burrowing the Widow Mines is his first priority, and they will go off on a decent amount of the charge left, but some of the charge lefts are sitting behind, and MARU, he does need a split against this, but he is taking a good fight thus far, as he does have the concave, and Stats will be forced to back up. Actually, that was a really good fight for MARU. He now sits here up 30 army supply for the moment, but there we have reinforcements coming on in. Stats bolstering his force with just tons and tons of charge lets, which, while they don't do a ton of damage themselves, they're just incredibly chonky boys that do a good job of soaking up the army of the damage of the Terran player. As once again, Stats is coming on, crushing in here, and it looks like he's taking a really good fight. Now, he can't move onto the high ground. He can't really move into that level of a choke, but notice we do have a couple Stalkers. We have an Archon moving on to the left-hand side. I don't really know. It's a good idea if it does not get punished, but MARU absolutely should maybe take advantage of that. Take the fight here, as part of Stats' army is just not there. So now we do have the Vikings. They are firing away, and 2 Colossi do remain. And actually, really great War Prism in my career, as Stats picks up and drops the wounded Colossi, but there's just nothing shooting up. So now one Colossus does go down, second one getting fired upon, and MARU, it looks like once again, Stats, he just overcommitted just a little bit too much. Stats had that great fight, and he did get 19 SCVs, don't get me wrong, but look at this. He's only on 28 army supply. He has no tech in his army. He has like one, yeah, he has one Colossus. The Archons are getting chased down. And there we go, the Archon will go down, and suddenly, I mean, where are we at? 20 SCVs died, yes, but MARU, he's on 4 bases. MARU, he has mules. He has play. 3-3 is just about done, so he's going to have an upgrade lead once again, and his army is just so much bigger than Stats is at this point. I mean, yeah, MARU waits a bit. There are some warp-in cycles, but this is MARU. He has a killer instinct, as now he's getting ready to move here and move on top of the 5th base, and he will find, well, no static defense, not ready, not yet. And with all these ghosts here, the static defense doesn't matter all that much anyways. Now the Vikings, they are firing along, but it is only one Colossus in red health. Only one Warp Prism ready to defend it, so really, these Vikings don't have... Well, I guess there's a second Colossus. Okay, so second Colossus. The Vikings will be able to just knock that first Colossus off in a second here as they... Gee, there we go. One Colossus does go down. Warp Prism getting fired upon as well. And MARU is stimming on in here. Stats has been forced backwards. Shield Battery Overcharge on the 4th base. But Stats, he's going to lose his 5th base. I would like to see MARU go kill all these probes. But, again, the probes don't matter if they cannot mine. And MARU, he has managed to take his 5th base. He is in a pretty good economic position, even as he is only on 57 workers. But mules are a thing, and now he's doubling the army supply. MARU stimming on in here. Great EMPs landing on top of everything. Archon going down, and there is just nothing left here for Stats. Nothing at all. It's going to make one last warp in, but that's not going to be enough. And GG, MARU, he takes the series. He moves on to play Dark in the Losers Bracket Finals. And Stats drops out in 7th and 8th place.